Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. So this is an update on a case that I have been following, and I hope you've been following too. This is an update on the homicide that took place in West Jordan, Utah. The homicide of Tony and Katherine Butterfield. This couple was tragically murdered in their home, and their 3 children were at home as well, asleep. All 3 of their children are under the age of 4. They were shot and killed in their home by an intruder, someone who had forced their way into the home. The back door of the home had been kicked in and the screen door was broken out. Now, the police believe, and they have believed all along, that they were targeted. They were targeted for something, either for belongings, cash, weapons, something that they had within their home. And another possible speculation that had been out there on the news and within the community was that Tony and Katherine Butterfield had been known to purchase large amounts of goods from local discount stores, shopping centers, grocery store outlets, but these items were not for themselves. They donated them to their church food pantry and clothing outlet, along with the city of West Jordan's food pantry and outlet, to help others. This family never did anything wrong. In fact, Tony and Katherine lived in their home since the day it was built. In the history of that address and the home being finished and them moving in, the police had absolutely no calls to that address ever. Not an argument, nothing. Their friends described them as salt of the earth couple who would do anything and everything within their power to help somebody else out. Here, later, I'm going to play 2 short little videos of the news updates on the case. The first one is the arrest of the assailant's wife. Now, a little bit of information about the assailant's wife, the suspect in this crime, Selena Johnson. Selena Johnson has been arrested for obstructing justice and for tampering with evidence. She is known, according to the police, to have destroyed evidence that is related to this crime and helped the individual who committed this crime, who is the suspect in this crime, I will add again, to get away. Selena Johnson has 3 minor children of her own living in her home. It is unclear to the police department of West Jordan at this time if the 3 children who are living in the home are the biological children of either the suspect or Selena Johnson. It is unknown, but 3 children do reside in their home. Now, I'm going to play you the first video, and then followed by the second video. Play close attention to the second video, please. And then afterwards, I'll have a little finishing commentary on this entire case. Thank you.
Is the wife of the prime suspect in this double homicide. He is Albert Johnson. Well, late last night, West Jordan police arresting his wife, Selena Johnson, for essentially lying to them and destroying evidence involved in this investigation as they try to get to the bottom of it and again arrest the person they believe to be so far responsible for this double homicide. According to a probable cause booking statement, detectives booking Selena Johnson into the Salt Lake County Jail late last night. She now officially facing charges of obstructing justice and tampering with evidence. The probable cause statement goes on to say that Selena withheld information from detectives about Albert Johnson's whereabouts and disposed of evidence relating to the double murder. Selena currently being held without bail as police believe that she is a danger to the community and will likely flee if she's released on bail. Now, West Jordan police have named their prime suspect. That would be Selena's husband, and they're looking for Albert Enoch Johnson. Investigators say on Saturday morning, Mr. Johnson allegedly forced his way into the home of Tony and Katherine Butterfield. They believe he shot and killed the couple while their 3 children were inside. Now, a motive for the attack still remains kind of murky, not absolutely clear at this point, but investigators do believe Johnson knew and targeted the victims.
We don't want to give up too much where Mr. Johnson is not in custody, but we do want people to know that they did know each other. It was not random, and we believe that they were in fact targeted. We canvassed the neighborhood, we spoke with neighbors. There's obviously Ring doorbell footage that we had to review.
Now, one of the more tragic elements in all of this is that the couple's 3 young children were home at the time. They are currently with family members. Also, a Fox 13 News search of court records finding that Mr. Johnson has a pretty violent criminal history going back roughly a decade, all the way over into California, where he has been charged in the past with assault with a deadly weapon and battery. Now, he was last known to be driving a 2008 Toyota Corolla. If you have any information about Mr. Johnson, where he might be, he apparently suffered an injury during the altercation that led up to that shooting. Anything at all that you think might help West Jordan Police, they're asking you to please give them a call. For now, we're live in West Jordan. Scott McCain, Fox 13 News, Utah. West Jordan Police giving some additional details today regarding how they, in working with the U.S. Marshals Service, were finally able to track down and arrest Albert Johnson very early this morning. As you can see from his most recent jail booking mugshot, Mr. Johnson did not give up without a fight.
I just know that there was a resistant effort on his part to not go into custody, and that is what happened.
Johnson is the prime suspect in the Saturday morning murders of Tony and Katherine Butterfield. Police say Johnson knew the victims, but they still won't elaborate on exactly what that relationship was. Detectives do say Johnson was in the process of committing a home invasion robbery when he allegedly shot Tony and Katherine to death. Their 3 children were home at the time. They're now staying with family members. Well, earlier this week, on Monday, Johnson's wife, Sina, was arrested for allegedly lying to police regarding what she knew about the murder and for allegedly destroying evidence in this case. Despite those obstacles and setbacks, detectives were able to gather enough information leading them to Northern California.
But we did get leads. We did get credible leads that he was there that led us to that area. It was not just a random thing where they saw him and said, oh, there's this guy that Utah's looking for. We did develop information and we knew where he was.
West Jordan detectives say this took a lot of coordination between them and the U.S. Marshals Service in Stockton, California. And detectives here are already on their way to Stockton armed with an arrest warrant for Mr. Albert Johnson, charging him with 2 counts of aggravated murder. Police go on to say they hope that this is some small amount of closure for the Butterfield family and their many friends here in West Jordan.
All right, so as we've seen from the 2 videos, Sina Johnson is currently being held on 2 felony charges for self-obstruction of justice and tampering with evidence. Her husband, Albert Johnson, is the suspect in this crime. And the reporter alluded to he had a lengthy criminal history that goes all the way back to California. By pulling up his actual criminal record online, Albert Johnson has been arrested for some of the following: assault with a deadly weapon in the 2nd degree, assault with a deadly weapon in the 2nd degree, 2 separate times, 3 years apart, domestic violence in between there, obstruction of justice, tampering with a witness, and stolen property and or trying to be a fence for stolen property. These are just some of the other crimes that he has listed. Along with on his criminal record, it says that he is a known associate of a street gang. It does not list what street gang he is associated with. Now, when in the second video, you've seen that the reporter, or heard that the reporter said that the police department there have to go by Ring doorbells. The police officer also said in the video that they're looking at Ring doorbells. There are 8 separate homes within a 1 block radius of the Butterfields home that have Ring doorbells. They are currently speaking with all 8 of those homeowners to look over their Ring doorbell data. Ring doorbell, fairly cheap. I owned one myself, and you would be surprised what you can catch on a Ring doorbell. And in this case, it may be the nail in the coffin that puts this man away for life, for what he did. Now, the 3 children of the Butterfields. They are currently residing with an aunt who lives in the area, in the West Jordan area. She is looking over and after the three children, because they've lost them, both their mother and their father, in this tragic series of events. The Butterfields were college sweethearts. They met in college, and 11 years ago, they met. They owned a landscaping business that just celebrated 5 years in business. It is unclear how Albert Johnson actually knows the Butterfields, but several people who spoke to the local news affiliate there said that they have seen the Butterfields working, and then either a gentleman or him himself, they're not sure, they weren't 100% sure if it was definitely him, but they have seen someone who matches his description show up at their home before. Was it a work-related gathering? Was it something that they made a transaction, sold something to him, or bought something from him? We don't know at this time. That's all pure speculation, along with all the other rumors that are floating around on the internet. But what is known for sure is the Butterfields were killed in their home. Tony Butterfield put up a hell of a fight before he was shot. Most likely multiple times, because there's 1 or 2 entry wounds into his body. He was found about 27 feet away from the back door of the home, most likely as if he tried to chase the assailant out the back door and then to the front of the house. The car was parked on the street, a gray or dark colored car. Turns out that Albert Johnson had a dark gunmetal gray Toyota Camry, I believe. The vehicle matches other descriptions that other people in the neighborhood saw. And this happened at 1:45 in the morning. Surprising. And helpful at the same time. How much a community can come together and how quickly. This took place on April 18th. Look at the date of this video, which is the 23rd. That's how quickly a community came together to help solve this crime, to give tips to the police. There's no reason why this can't be repeated all the way across America and around the world. All you have to do is care enough to be involved. Turning your eyes, looking the other way, and pretending you never seen anything or heard anything is never going to help anybody. And someday, if something happens to you, you better hope your neighbors will do the same for you. And you'll never know unless you try. Now, rest in peace to the Butterfields. Rest in peace. And please, say a prayer for their children who tragically lost both their parents in this event. Thank you.